Hello and welcome to the sixth part of the Opera Sydney tutorial. In this tutorial we're going to talk about textures and materials. This tutorial was brought to you by Akrito. Okay, we're going to start by mapping the base. First go under sub-selection and select all the external polygons. We're going to texture this separately. And we're going to give it a different material. Just select all the outer polygons. Make sure they're all selected all around. Okay, something like this. Okay, and open the material editor and apply a material to this area. Okay, now choose tiles under diffuse on the V-Ray material and hit show standard map in viewport. Okay, now as you can see it's not visible. We're going to add a UVV map set to box, and with a box UVV map by 1000 by 1000 maybe. Okay, as you can see there's a mapping problem on the surface, but don't worry about that. Let's just increase the size of the box. It will have a good value. Okay, maybe something in this area. Now we're going to go under advanced controls on the tiles and just adjust the parameters of the tiles. Let's go back to 1000 by 1000 by 1000. Okay, and just scale on the z-axis so we only have the lines and no horizontal lines. We're going to take advantage of this horizontal line to be as the zone where the water hits the base. Okay, now let's just take another look, see the colors. Okay, let's open up the material editor again and change the tile setup to a brown. Okay. Okay. Now the water plane. Okay, just move this a little lower. Okay. Just change the grout texture to brownish also, but maybe a little darker than the tiles color. Okay, and give it a little color variance so to break the monotony. Give it a horizontal count, a larger horizontal count, and a lower horizontal and vertical gap. Okay, I think we're good. Now go on the maps and just drag and drop the tiles to bump and hit copy. Now on this bump I want to make sure that on the advanced controls the grout setup is set to black or white and the texture to black. Okay, so in this way the bump works to 100%. Okay, so now we have a bump. Okay, let's adjust the reflection for this. Just give it a gray for reflect. Okay, go to reflection glossiness and change it to a smaller value of 0.7 maybe. And highlight glossiness to 0.6 or 0.55 or even low. And maybe the reflection glossiness a little higher. Okay, check Fresnel reflections and under Fresnel IOR set it to a larger value, like 5. 2.5. Okay, now I think it looks okay. Now what I want to do, I want to select the other materials and change. As you can see on the surface, there's a material that have been accidentally placed there. Don't worry about that. We'll change this in a sec. Okay, let's enhance the very physical camera. And let's just look through it. Now this point is important because I want to set up the water and even the plane. Now let's make another material called water and just drag it to this plane. Under diffuse, just pick a noise, and we're going to set up the noise from here, but first add a UVV map to the water and make it a square. I want to see what's happening in the perspective view, as it will be hard to see this in the V-Ray view. Okay, I need it to be something like this, so it's very obvious. Just scale the UVV map. Okay, now let's change the color of the noise. I will choose two colors of blue, dark blue, both for the water. Okay. We change the size of the noise. Okay, now let's go back to the V-Ray material and just copy and paste this noise map under reflect. I'm going to change both blues to gray, some light grays, so I have a lot of reflections, and just change the reflection glossiness to a lower value, like 0.92. Unlock the highlight glossiness and give it an even lower value. Check the Fresnel reflections and set the Fresnel IOR to a larger value, like 20. Under refract, select a very light gray for refract. Okay, and I'm going to adjust the fog color to black. That's already black. Just give it a bluish tint, very light blue. And under fog multiplier, I'll have to decrease this value to a very small value, 0.03 or 0.08. Okay, and then under translucency, set the type to water. Just copy the reflect to bump, just paste it, no instance for now, and make it a little blurry. I don't want the bump to be too rough. Okay, just let's go back to the base and select the polygons that had that misplaced material. Just go under Polygon Materials ID and select by name all the polygons that have material ID 1. Okay, these are all, I guess. Just open the material editor, select a new slot, and apply the new material to the selection. I'm going to have to load here a cellular map. Just hit Show Standard Map in Viewport. I have collapsed the UVV map on top, and I applied another UVV map so I can now work individually on this area. Just set the UVV map to box and scale it until it looks alright. Okay, let's go back to the material editor and start changing the cellular properties. Give it a little yellow tint on the cell color, brownish tint, and the division color. I'm going to just paste this color and make it a little lighter and a little darker on the division's color, so the effect is not very rough. Set the cell characteristic to circular and increase the variation a little bit. Okay, under size, I'm just going to use a small value, 0.1. And maybe a little blurred. Play a little bit with the spread value. Okay, now go back to the Viri material and give it a brownish color to diffuse also. I'm just going to decrease the map value from 100 to maybe 13 or even a small value, and just give it a little bit of reflect. A small reflection value of 0.8, Fresnel reflections of Fresnel IOR by 3. Maybe it's too high, 1.6. And even smaller reflection glossiness. I think this looks good. Select another empty slot. And I'm going to apply material on all the remaining parts. As you can see, previously we haven't grouped them, so we'll have to do that now. Okay, so we're just going to need to add material to all this area. Just apply UVV map to all at once. Make the UVV map a box of 5000 by 5000. Just scale it down a little bit so it looks similar to the base. Just maybe a little bit scale down. Okay, just scale it up on the z-axis and move it so you don't have any horizontal lines. Now on the base I'm going to select all the remaining polygons that form the balustrade, the upper polygons onto the balustrade. These should be polygons with the material ID 3. Select all the balustrade, and I'm going to apply a different color to this area also. We only need to select the upper polygons and all the interior polygons that form the balustrade. Let's go ahead and select no name 2, no name 1. And just open the material editor and apply a different material to this area. You have to make it brownish. Okay. I think this is good enough. Just select all the upper polygons and we're going to bevel them with a local normal. First set the height to 0 and the outline amount to positive value. Not very big. Okay, let's go back to the bevel, set it to local normal. First we're going to just need an outline amount, hit apply, then set the outline amount to 0 and the height to a positive value. Now we have some sort of exterior balustrade. This is good. It gives it a little more detail. Okay, now just pick the material from the outer shells. As you can see, it's a standard material with a map set to diffuse. We're going to change this to a V-Ray material. Okay. Now go to bump and select tiles. Now you will notice that this won't function as we would like, even if set the horizontal count and vertical count to 1. So put an entire tile on it. We're just going to have to use our own map. Okay, I'm going to override the tiles. I've placed noise under diffuse map just to test it out a little bit, to see how this mapping works. Now it's maybe a little too rough. Maybe a value of 10 will look good, so this will give it a little bit of randomness in the texture. give a yellowish color for color 1 and a similar color to 2, but make it a little darker on color 2. Okay, on the reflect, just set a gray color to reflect. Now this is probably too high. Just decrease the reflection glossiness to 0.9. Unlock the highlight glossiness and set it to it was good unlocked. Just check the Fresnel reflection and set the Fresnel IOR to 2.5. The Fresnel reflections IOR only become available when you check the little L. Okay, now we're going to change the inner material that was used for the outer shell. We picked it up and switched it from standard to Fury material. Just choose a silver map for diffuse. And as you can see, there's no mapping. It should be set to face, but let's take a closer look what's going on. And just override it with the UVV map. Set to face. Okay. Basically, face means that each polygon has an individual image mapped to it. Each polygon of the entire geometry. Just apply UVV map to all those parts and set it to map. To face, sorry. Okay, so now we can play a little bit more with the silver map. I've done the same thing for the rest, for the other outer shells. Okay, let's make the silver and let's play a little bit with their values. Just copy and paste the silver to bump. Just give it a little roughness and make it reflect a little bit with a very low reflection glossiness and Fresnel reflections with an IOR of 2. Now we're going to change the glass material. Picked it up from the scene, it's already Fury material. I'll just change the diffuse color to white. The reflect to gray. Check Fresnel reflections and IOR of 8. Now on the refract, just going to make it more refractant. Make sure that the effect shadows is checked and set the fog color to a bluish color. And don't forget the fog multiplier to a very low value, 0.1 or even lower. Now we're going to do the structure material. I picked it up, it's already a Fury material. Just set the diffuse color to a darkish color. Make it reflect a little bit. Set the Fresnel reflections and the IOR to 10. Okay. Let's test it up. Let's test what we've done. Okay, so this is pretty much the result when I render it. Now there are a lot of problems. I don't like the glass, I don't like a lot of things, and we're just going to have to change them manually. The water seems a little bit too noisy. I'm just going to scale the UV map a little lower. And decrease the noise. The Z value of 1 is maybe too high. Just use the relax on top. Just want it to be a little more smooth. Okay, let's open our frame window, set the area to render to region, and just select the water area. Just select this area to render and render it. I don't want to render the entire image again, I'm just interested in the water right now. As you can see, there are almost no refractions because there's really nothing to refract. Only reflections. Now we're going to set each material one by one to make sure it functions correctly. Still don't like the water, just increase the relax iterations to 10, make it more relaxed. It still looks kind of bumpy. And maybe scale the UV map a little lower, so we have a little more detail. Increase the bump value. And change a little bit the noise from the bump map. Okay, let's render again. Everything turns black because we've rendered from the very physical camera, and it has a very high F number. Just render it from the perspective view. Okay, I think it looks pretty much good now. Yep. Yeah, definitely it looks better. Still some artifacts, some black areas that I don't really like. I'm going to take care of that. Okay, I think it looks quite decent. Okay, moving on. Now I'm only interested in this part, right here, area to render. Okay, let's play a little bit with the glass now. The glass has a huge fog multiplier. I set it to 0.001 now, so there's no, I reduced the bluishness. And I don't like the cellular map from the outer shells. I've set the diffuse map amount to 5, so it goes a little lower. Don't like the outer shell material as it's too shiny. It's way too shiny. Just decrease the reflect. Make it a little more dark. Okay, and set the lower Fresnel IOR. Let's test this again. Okay, still not good, but we're on the right track. The glass definitely looks better now. I removed some of the bluishness. Okay, just increase the highlight glossiness. Okay, I think it looks definitely better. Okay, now I want to zoom in a little bit there. I want to see a closer look of what's going on. Okay, let's render again. Now it looks definitely better. Just want to even zoom. Just select the area to render to blow up. This will zoom, will stretch on the entire image the area to render. So we'll have a lot of detail. This is good for checking the details of your scene. Okay, I think it looks definitely better now. Okay, now what I want to do, I want to play a little bit with the material from the outer shell. Okay, so what I don't like the fact that those lines are barely visible. Now here's the problem. The UVV map was set to phase after mesh mode, so this is not a very good idea. Just remove the new UVV map and let the old one function. Let's just render again. I've set the image sampler to adaptive subdivision. We've decreased all the rendering settings so it renders more rapidly. Just don't make the same mistake to just render on perspective. Don't render on physical camera but on perspective. Now as you can see the image is more blurry but it renders faster. I'm only interested in how the material looks at this point. Okay. Now as you can see the outer shell segments are not visible, so we're going to force that. Now whatever I do, as you see, the margin won't be constant, so this will become very weird. Just render again to see what happens now. It's almost not visible. Okay, I'm going to replace the tiles. Okay, so this is a good area to see what's going on. Even with an increased pound value, as you can see, it's almost not visible. I'll just copy and paste it to displaced. Now this is how it should really look, so this is why bump cannot function. It's not very accurate. Just going to replace the tiles. Well, the thing is, whatever I do, it will still be approximate, so it's going to load a bitmap instead of tiles. Okay, so just play a little bit with the values. Okay, so this is it. We'll see you in the next tutorial.